Mark the wrong side of your pieces to make sure you're applying the fuse to the wrong side of your fabric. After pressing the fuse to your fabric, make sure that you trim off all excess fuse that may be coming out of the edges. After fusing your front panel and all your pieces, we are going to transfer our drill holes and our dart onto the shelf. In order to get the right drill hole and dart, make sure that you identify the size you're working with and you mark your drill holes and dart according to that size. So I am working on the size 34, so that's your first drill hole here. So you circle that and you circle the one on your right. The first drill hole on your right. For the dart in the middle, I'm going to circle the top of the first point. Then I come to the corners of the drill hole, the center, and I'm going to circle that. Okay, that goes to about a ½ inch to the bottom. And this dart, there's supposed to be a cutout here. So we're going to cut out this part. Alright, so this whole part gets cut out. And we are going to draw a straight line from where our cutout is under the armhole. So a straight line to the bottom of the dart, and then follow the lines of the size that you've selected and draw a line to the end of that dart. Okay, so straight line down, follow the dart lines all the way to the end, and also mark out the darts in the front. Okay. So this line is supposed to give you your side seam, and this is your front dart. Okay. To trace your drill holes and your darts with your side seam onto your front panel, I'm going to put the pieces together, right sides together, make sure that the edges are straight, and I'm going to put my pattern back on. Okay, with a piece of thread and a needle, I'm just going to mark out the drill hole, the top point of my darts. Okay, so the needle goes in, leave about 2 to 3 inches outside. Okay, then you come to the back and clip about 3 inches off. Okay, same thing to your 2 points on your dart. Okay, just put your needle in, leave your thread hanging on the top, go to the back and clip your thread. Make sure you at least have about 4 to 6 inches of thread hanging both on top and at the bottom. Now that we have our drill holes all marked, I am going to cut our side seam line. So I start from the top, I'm going straight all the way to the bottom of that seam, and I'm just going to cut this cutout out. Okay, so I'm going to cut to the end of my dart. So this whole piece comes out. Okay. Okay, then I come down and I cut the little triangle hanging here out too. So you go straight down the side, make sure you cut this side out. Make sure your drill holes for your breast pocket is in, and also you've put a thread on the corners of your dart so that you can identify them when you start stitching. Gently take your pattern off your pieces and leave your threads in your piece. I'm just going to pull this up a bit. You're going to see the threads hanging. Clip them in half, okay? Okay, gently pull it. Right, once you have about an inch and a half of thread showing, clip that thread into two. So we know we have those drill holes transferred onto the pieces. We have to match our pocket to our plaid. In order to do that, we are just going to mark the plaid onto our pattern and transfer it onto the fabric to cut our pockets. So we're starting with the breast pocket. We're drawing a straight line to connect the two drill holes. So we know our pocket have a 1/2 inch seam allowance. We're just going to place the 1/2 inch seam allowance at the bottom onto our pocket line, and we are going to center it to our drill holes. Okay. Now I'm just going to put a pin to hold it in place. Okay. Make sure that your line is right on your pocket line. Okay. Now I'm going to transfer our plaid onto our pattern. Okay, so I'm picking the red line. I'm just going to mark it straight. Okay. Just going to mark my plaid onto the pattern. I know this is going this way. Pick the red and I mark that onto the pattern. Okay. Okay. This should be enough to help me transfer my breast pocket onto my fabric. Okay. Now the same thing applies to our bluff pocket. Okay. With our bluff pocket, first you need to identify where your dart drill holes are. So we have those two right here. I'm going to go outside of those drill holes 1 inch. So I'm just going to mark 1 inch to the center front of our front panel. Okay. And also I need to mark my waist notch. Okay. So indicate that. Mark 1 inch outside of your dart towards your center front. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to match our pocket line. Remember that with the bluff pocket, the top is on a slant. So what we are going to do is we're going to use our grain line to make sure that our grain line is in line with our plaid. So I'm laying the grain line on top of our plaid and I'm matching the edge of it to the 1 inch mark we made. Okay, and then make sure that this notch is in line with our waist notch. Okay, so match the notch at the back of your pocket to your waistline. Okay, make sure your grain line is straight, right? So this should show us where our pocket will fall. Okay, so now we are going to transfer our plaid onto our pattern in order to help us trace it onto the fabric. Okay. So I'm just gently going to transfer our plaid. Just gonna pick about 2 or 3 to follow. So now that you have your plaid marked onto your pattern, we can easily put this on the fabric to cut out our pockets. Okay. Just going to take our pattern and find our plaid to match. So So I'm just going to lay it on the fabric, pick the lines. Okay, so I know that ends on the red. This also ends on the red. This is our plot, so it's just moving this way, right? So now that we have it in place, we're just going to trace it. Okay. You can put a pin to hold it in place before you trace. Okay, so I know that our plaid is moving in line, and this should help us match the pocket to the self. Okay, so breast pocket out of the way. Same thing here, just match it. Right, make sure that the lines are in place. Okay, and just transfer your pattern and cut it out, and this should help us match our pockets. After cutting out your pocket, please apply a 3-inch wide pellon fuse on top of your 2-block pocket, and a pellon fuse also at the back of your breast pocket. Okay. With our pocket lining, we're going to cut 4 of them, 2 of which we're going to draw a 3/8 line around the edge of our pocket and on top of it. And we're just going to gently base it around. We're going to just base, loosely stitch this marked 3/8 around our pocket lining. And this is what we're going to use to clean finish the inside of our pocket. Okay, so 4 of it, mark 3/8 around and gently base it in, fold it in, give it a nice press, and we're going to use this to clean finish our pockets.